EBVs, I think, are probably the most desirable way of us determining comparative genetic gain and analysis in our herd in comparison to everybody else's herd across Australia. So it's a pretty big statement, but a pretty powerful statement, and that's how important I think that they are. The progress in the use of EBVs has been established in this herd since the initiation of the use of EBVs, and records go back until 1975 with all the data that's been recorded here by my predecessors. In the last 14 years, we've made significant gains in attributes of economic importance to us with respect to calving ease, 600-day growth, carcass weights, and also fertility issues with respect to scrotal circumferences, etc.
The continued use of genetic technologies is high on the agenda at Bald Blair Angus.
Where we believe the use of technologies are going to advantage the Bald Blair herd in the future is that ultimately we're going to have less and less animals that aren't going to not be meeting the specifications of our industry. And technologies, be they gene markers, be they tests for insulin-like growth factor, be they actual physical feed efficiency tests, our intention is that we can ensure that we're spending money on those animals that are going to produce for industry and are going to produce results for our herd and obviously for our clients' herds.
Within the Angus breed, there's been a significant uptake in the use of dollar indexes by commercial bull buyers.
Dollar indexes are a very handy way for commercial bull buyers to avoid some of the overload of information that a normal sale catalogue uses. What the indexes try to do is to put into one figure that represents that particular market production system, an indicator of the genetic value of the animal up for sale. So it's a summary form. It means that breeders can look at one figure instead of have a look at anywhere from 9 to 12 different EBVs. They can do that by looking at one figure instead. If you are confronted with a catalogue, it's a good means of being able to identify the ones who carry the genetic package that you want to target that particular market. Once you've identified the high indexing bulls, then in many cases it pays to just have a look back across the EBVs that have gone to make up that index, because bulls can end up with a high index coming from a couple of different pathways. I guess for people that are really concerned about making sure that mature cow weights don't get too high or birth weights don't get too high or any other particular EBV is not out of balance, using the index as a sorting mechanism and then quickly checking back over the EBVs to make sure that the package that's gone to make up the index suits their purpose is a good idea.
The uptake of dollar indexes as a selection tool is on the increase, and as a result, bull buyers are more prepared to spend money on animals with impressive dollar index figures.
Across the industry, we're starting to see more and more of that. In recent months, we've had a couple of indicators where commercial buyers attending large scale bull sales have done exactly that. They've paid more money for the bulls who've performed at the higher end of the index that suited their production system. So yes, that's happening very definitely. And some of the premiums that are being paid are quite significant. Yeah, the Weekly Times in Victoria, Brian Clancy put a report in one of their recent publications or recent issues, reporting on his analysis of some of those commercial sales where exactly that had happened.
Indexes are a very powerful tool, and when used in conjunction with good, I suppose, eyeball analysis of our animals and structural assessment of our animals, what we're able to do is we're able to take a whole lot of information in one figure and make an assessment of where that animal is with respect to their position with indexing in their ranking, whether it be in the top 25% of the breed, top 50% of the breed, or even below. And as a consequence of that, we can make a decision on the importance of that animal in our herd, whether we feel it's going to make a contribution or not, and then make a decision to retain that animal or not to retain that animal in its place in that herd.